ride a bike. So my shitty little cousin took me off one afternoon on his little red bike, and I learned to ride a bike. Came back all bruised and bleeding and said, Mom, I can ride a bike. The first of many O's. So here I am in a cave, playing in a cave. I like underground. Messy kids are happy kids, right? Gotta be dirty. Gotta have fun. And that's the next one, I think, that's coming. Oh, that's this one, but it doesn't matter. Okay, that's all right. Just down another cave. I love vertical caves because I've got a big rack there that I used for El Capitan. And there was a smaller version that I used for this because it was only about, I don't know, 600 feet maybe. Something like that, I think. It's so much fun. Okay, and then if we go underground, we need to go above ground too. And I'm enough of a, and we'll go to the next one, I'm enough of a control freak that we've got to, I needed to learn to fly. Because mountains in Nepal are somewhat unpredictable. And you're on your own up there. And I take my friends' kids as well, which is so much fun. And they love it. I put him in control, they put him in my seat. Said, hey, you have control. Next one. And that's landing at CYTC, which is the island airport in Toronto. No, it's not closed. I forget it. Okay, keep going. And I love to paint murals, so that's just for my grandson, Merrick Seaplanes. And that's at the top of the dome, which is now called, what, the Rogers Centre? Yeah. Just playing around up there. We did a thing called the A-Team, and a whole bunch of us went down high lines and zip lines and rappelled down and threw balls at everybody at intermission at one time. So that was kind of fun. And that's, again, just playing around up there. Chatting to somebody right up at the very top, hanging around on a rope, nothing better. And that's climbing up the St. Clair Avenue Bridge. You have, if you want to go play there, I love playing bridge. It's a slightly different bridge from the way you may play, but it's playing bridge. And so you put your rope on and all your stuff, and you climb up with absolutely no safety whatsoever. You get up to the top there, clip into something, bring the rope, and then you can walk.
That's in the West End?
That's right.
Yeah, okay, I know that.
That's a great bridge.
And you don't have a problem with the police or people saying you shouldn't do it?
They know we're there. They know we're there. No,
Yeah.
no, not a problem.
I watched a dog, police dog, watching the people repel down a building, and they're going, there's a man up there, there's a man up there, and tell the cops there's a man up there.
Yeah, they might have a problem from a building because of people.
It was a police, it was a police show.
Yeah, that's at Rattlesnake Provincial Park. I was the poster child for braces or polio or something. I've got next to no muscles from the waist down, so I wear a lot of leg brace to walk. The idea of this talk, by the way, is to let you know that everything is possible if you want it enough. You'll figure out a way to do it. You can do it, really. If you want to enough and you're willing to work for it, you can do it. And I like climbing. I brought my one climbing shoe. We went hunting for climbing shoes, and Mick had a Mountain Equipment Co-op had a box that my girlfriend found of odds and ends that were for sale, and they had one left Oriole climbing shoe, my size. My other shoe, I just wear an ordinary running shoe. I serve them a little bit better. And of course, if you go rock climbing, you got to go ice climbing. And so my crampons are a little different. We made the inside of my right leg. I can swing my leg from my hip. And so we made the inside prongs go in the way, so I could slam it into the ice and stand on it, and then take the next step up. Okay, and let's ski, or I used to. I break too many bones these days. Started out 3-track skiing, and that was my teacher. He was a 3-track skier too, also had polio. And that's just a horseshoe. Next. Let's go down just a horseshoe. And then it turned into a sit skier because my left leg was complaining that it was getting used a bit much, so I thought, well, I'll be nice to it. So I started sit skiing. And then I had this stupendous 4.5 awesome days out in BC. And I just got going a little bit too fast. And I knew I was going too fast, and I was sort of trying to slow down, and trees were approaching, and I got to turn. So I turned and I slipped, and it was icy, chunky stuff. It was about 3/4 of the way down the hill, and this is out at Mount Washington on Vancouver Island. And I did some spectacular turns apparently, and landed on my head and my shoulder, and yeah, so I stopped skiing. I decided it wasn't quite,
You broke some
it wasn't
things.
worth it.
You broke some things that day?
I'm sure did. Being Canadian, you gotta go canoeing, huh? Eh? Eh? Yes, of course. Lots of wilderness canoeing. And just lying around canoeing. And the French and the pickerel were our favourite haunts. And I drew everywhere that I go. Everywhere I go, I draw. That's great. And that's out in BC, outside from my son's house, Newcastle Island. And that's at home with my pussycat. I'm going under the bridge at the end. And there I've got a pallet. Must be spring. Picked up a bit of ice. And off into the slush. More plain bridge, except this is a slightly bigger bridge. Bridge Day in West Virginia. It's 876 foot off the ground in the middle. Well, off the water actually. It's the New River Gorge Bridge. And it's about a mile long. And when you're walking out from the end here, you can't see where the rigging spots are. It's 12 groups of people right in the middle of that bridge, main the cavers, who have lines that go down to the bottom, and they jump over the side and rappel down. And there's base jumpers going off the top all the time too, and that's really fun. And lots of screaming and yelling, and there's vendors, and for a mile across the top. It's a fabulous day. And you know what? It's today. They'll be there today. Watch CNN tonight. It's the 3rd weekend of October every year. That's terrific. I think you're getting all set to go down. Down the slide. Oh, I've got my CRTC jacket on too. Well, that was another story. CRTC, we rappelled off the CN Tower, and we did a high line from the CN Tower over to the bridge in Bathurst Street before there was a bunch of buildings in the way. That was also a record. That was the first time 2 people had ever gone on one rope. Normally that's not possible. You'd have to have a long rack like that one to be able to do it. Those were made in my studio, mostly. Partly made in IMAX, but mostly in my studio. Regular racks are a bit shorter, and there's too much friction would build up in the rope. You wouldn't be able to have 2 people rappel. But we got permission to do it. So it's great. I feel like little spiders on a web there. That's at West Virginia too. That's us, both of us in the rope, and we got some press for that because it was a first, which was rather nice. There I am, and of course I did a high line as well. Just the heck of it. Just a short one. And we'd had this 3,000 foot rope made because we wanted to do a really big high line in West Virginia from the big bridge down to the little bridge, where you just slide from one to the other. And we'd all worked out, we'd all our team together. We thought we had permission from everybody, and then a week before the town got cold feet and said, no, you can't do it, it's too dangerous. Silly people. So we had this 3,000 foot rope that we needed to do something with. So we looked around and we found El Capitan in Yosemite National Park in California. And the rappel bit is just a little on this side of it. But it's nice and high. It's, I forget, it's close to, well, there we are, 2,650 feet. We got t-shirts made and everything. We practiced on a crane, and we put weights on the bottom of the rope to simulate the weight of the rope, because the rope itself weighs 65 pounds, or 67 pounds. Can we keep questions till later, please?
Okay. Nausea. Were you nauseous?
Oh God, no.
Never?
No. No, as long as I'm attached to a rope, I'm happy. Okay, that's rigging the rope through the rack. Nice long ones. More practice on the rope. Excuse me. If anybody's interested, we can go over that later on. How we rigged it at the top. That's base of the cap at the moment. That's me trudging up 10 hours with an incredibly heavy pack on my back. And my brace digs into me, and my knee, it gets my knee, and it gets my ankle, and I was bleeding all over the place. And we'd intended to keep going till 6 that night, and by 5 I was in tears, and I had my glasses on, trying not to show it. And I said, we're going to have to stop. So we stopped and had something to eat and curled up for the night in a bivy bag, and carried on the next day. I doctored all my sores. I'm good at figuring out how to pad them all so that they don't hurt too much. And once you get going, you tend to just be able to block it out and keep going. So 5 hours later, we reached the top. And there's a little, we called it the gold track along the top here. We're almost at the top of El Capitan coming up the back there. And when I walk, I sort of go up and down. And my partner was behind me, and he was watching me go up and down, and watching this great big pack go. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to go over. But it didn't. And that's the very top, and you can see Halfville way down there in the distance. Gorgeous place to be. That was our rigging spot. It's about maybe 8 or 9 feet down from the top. There's this nice little handy ledge, which is really nice. So one of the crew is sitting up there like a little gnome, helping us, encouraging us, watching us, keeping us safe. That's me getting rigged in to go. We always get somebody to check that we've done everything right and attached everything right. And that's me starting down. And in the next one, you'll see what it looks like from up there. And that's my radio aerial that you can see right here. It's attached to me so that I can speak to top or bottom if I wanted to. We had a catch beaner rigged in 30 feet down so that if for some reason you got out of control, that would stop you. And if you really needed to, you could change it over and go back up the rope again, but nobody needed to do that. Just wanted to be safe. There had been one fatality there a couple of years before. 3 American teams had done it before us. This was the first time a Canadian team had done it, and it was the first time they'd had a woman beard. Yay! And that's how I was coming down the rope towards the bottom. We had to pull people out. The last couple of 100 feet was slightly over, slightly mangled. And we brought down loads of stuff with us the last couple of times because we were de-rigging the top, and tents and everything that we'd had up there all week had to come down. So they came down to hang underneath us because you don't feel any weight. It's just attached to a beater and hangs down below you. You don't notice it. And Explorer did a piece on us for that, which is kind of nice. I got an invitational to Dubai, and I found the desert absolutely awesome. I've got to go back there. It's a little like the mountains, but hotter. It's desolate. It's you don't know where you are. I love it. And the invitational actually was to paint. I was there as Canada's painter. I brought the same one. Sorry about that. I meant to bring the other one. Representing Canada, there were 19 other painters there, each one from a different country, which was fabulous. Learned so much. The interchange of all our information, and I'm still in touch with loads of them. I email them regularly. It's fabulous. Yeah, that was the tent that we painted in. Having a rest there and chatting to another of the artists. I did that one for a show in Port Credit when I came back. And that's me in Peru on the Salcantay Trail. I went off on it for a few days with 2 guys, 2 horses and a foal. And we went down to the start of the Inca Trail. My Spanish is not that great, and they spoke no English, so it was a learning process. It was fabulous. That's the only people we saw on the 3 days, 3 or 4 days down there. And the next one is the only habitation we saw in those 3 days as well. There were a couple of passes too that were around sort of 5,500 meters, really high. And that's on the trip into Machu Picchu. And And of course, I've got to see a caver style. I went to places where the tourists will go. I like doing that. And then a friend asked, would you like to go to Nepal? Hang off some cliffs and find some good shoots for us. Of course. Do I have to pack my toothbrush? Off we went. So I ended up in Kathmandu. And this is the tourist part of Kathmandu, more or less the edge of it. I mean, that's the tourist part, Tamil. And a sacred cow just lying around in the street somewhere. You can kill a person, but don't kill a cow. Get your priorities right. So the streets are nice and busy. We flew up to Lukla in a twin otter, which only took about 3/4 of an hour. It's up all the way. It's Kathmandu is at about 4,000, maybe 4.5. Lukla's about 9,500 feet. And this little twin otter just has one pilot, which is why I wanted to learn how to fly. I'm enough of a control freak. I wanted to have half a chance at landing if he went on a heart attack. He did his walk around of the plane, and remember I'm a pilot, so I know how to do walk arounds. And he was smoking a cigarette, he's got this great big beer belly on him, and he's wandering around. Didn't look at anything really, just a meander around the plane and got in, started, we're off. So yeah, I wanted to know how to land her. From there you walk, there are no roads. And it gets steadily higher all the way. And Namche Bazaar, way up here, is where you start resting for an extra day because it's getting pretty high by then. And there isn't as much oxygen in the air. And from Namche Bazaar, we keep, I guess Namche is down here, we keep going up. It took us, I don't know, 10 days, 11 days. We weren't in any hurry. And they talk about how many days it takes to get somewhere up there. It's not, how far is it to such and such. They don't tell you, it's 5 miles, or it'll take you, they tell you, it'll take you 3 days, or 2 days, or whatever. One of my other trips, by the way, was, I've been here several times. I climbed Gokilri as well, and then I was wanting to go over the Chola Pass and over to Dubla that way, but there was just too much snow that year, so I couldn't go. It wasn't possible. We didn't go. There's a pregnant mum with a little one down by her side there. They say a draw everywhere. And those are dokas, baskets that they have with tuck lines around them. And if you give them a pack to carry, and you pay somebody to carry your pack, they'll put it into his doka and march off with it. And as they cross these bridges, they'll be saying, "Oh, money, pack me home, oh, money, pack me home," which is their prayer of, let everything be all right and God look after me. And it's actually about lotus blossom, but that's basically what it means. That's a new bridge. When I went the first time, the bridge was not like that. It had missing boards and loose boards, and it was kind of fun. There's more drawings in different places. Poems. Prayer flags everywhere, just like those ones up at the end. That's up above Namche Bazaar, a long time ago. It's much more built up now. You can see Ahmedabad almost from everywhere too. Just through one of these very quickly. That was the doctor, Joy was her name, at Ferriche High Altitude Hospital. I helped out there for a few days. Doctors who were doing their internship would sometimes take a year off and go out and help in different places, do some trekking themselves, but help out at high altitude hospitals too, which was fabulous. And while I was there was a fellow got brought in on a horse, and he could barely sit on the horse. He was pretty slumped over, suffering from pulmonary edema. And we put him into a Gamoff bag and pumped it up so that the air inside simulated being at a lower altitude. And by morning he was fine. We let him out and then he went down more. taught me how, she taught me how to make Tibetan bread and all sorts of things. She's a lovely baby. I was speaking Sherpa by then. She's nice. And to draw people. This is a zokko, which is, people call them yaks quite often, but they're not. Naks are female yaks. And this is a cross between a yak and a water buffalo, actually, because they're able to carry more and withstand the weather and all the hardships of being way up north a whole lot better. And our beauteous tree with snow on it. Love that. The tree line is so much higher over there, like about 14,000, you'll still find some trees. That's a toilet there, turkey. Fancy stuff, you don't need to go behind a rock. This is the last habitation before Everest Base Camp, and the hill behind it is Gorak Shed, which I climbed, and that's our tent. And that's us on the top of the hill we're climbing behind there. It's supposed to take people, I think, 3 or 4 hours to climb it. It took me 6. I tend to take a bit longer, but I get there, which is the important thing. It was absolutely fabulous. Like, and just about no air. It was, you know, it was blowing like crazy, but there didn't seem to be enough air to breathe. You know, it was, putting your boots on to get up there was a major effort. Everest Base Camp, this is a view from up at the top there. Everest Base Camp's down here, Pramori Base Camp is down here, and in photo you can't see it, sorry about that. We're higher than Everest Base Camp, it's about 17,600, we were up about 18,400 maybe. And of course I had to do a painting of what it was like. The sky seems darker up there. I swapped that painting actually with sculpture that I know, and they're got a fabulous sculpture, sound sculpture probably for it. I don't see it now, but the moon's upside down. This is the view from the top of Gokyori that I climbed. And the last place that I slept at the night before was down there somewhere. And you had to cross the end of the lake, and now there are 3 lakes up there, and they're all at about 18,000 feet, which is fabulous. And that's me at the top. No snow again. Can you believe it? It just gets blown right off. It's so windy. And I looked for that painting to bring it today. I know I've got it somewhere, but I'm darned if I can find it. So that's about Himal and the wind and those mountains and just how it feels. And that was sort of acknowledging El Cap and things we've done in Everest. Write-ups. And goodbye Kathmandu. There was an elephant, we got a ride to the airport along those little streets in a minibus, and there was an elephant wandering along beside us, and he was helping himself to bananas or whatever he felt like as he went along. Nobody stopped him. Nobody stopped him. And that's about it. Do we have time for reading a couple of things? I am writing a book. Someday maybe I'll finish it. And then towards the end of the book I wrote, adjustment was hard. When we stepped off the plane in the US, I noticed I was no longer surrounded by the familiar sounds, smells, fabrics, colors, and people that I loved. They'd been replaced by the sounds of children playing with plastic things that went beep, or they clicked. Some of them were arguing with adults. I heard impatience, smelled perfumes, aftershave products, fatty foods cooking. Everyone seemed to be looking down at computers or cell phones. Shoes were in everybody's feet. Nobody smelled right. Nothing smelled right. Nuzzling into Mike's jacket beside me, I could smell the smoke from the fire we cooked on in Dudla. And I wished I was back there where life had been simpler. The sleeping bag was a luxury, and a plastic sheet and a blanket were all you really needed. People would share their food, whether it was potatoes or rice, and they noticed if you needed help going up or down a hill, a hand would appear holding your arm firmly. A few sticks or a single coin could provide a whole evening's entertainment and laughter for everybody. Respect was the norm. Once home, it took me several months to settle back into the rhythm of Western life reasonably comfortably, but my life will never be the same again. My travels enriched my being and gave me a gratitude for a myriad of little things, from a waving leaf to the cleansing light rain. Nepal has left me feeling like one of the little things on earth. My Creator has put me on this planet for a purpose, and I don't even need to know what that purpose is. I just know that I'm as important as the stones that I walk on, and the trees that shelter me. I'm right-sized. And then I found a little quote that Cahill Gibran wrote: "The most massive characters are seared with scars." Well, I've been giving you an overview of my successes, but I'm also seared with scars. And when I finish my book, you'll just need to read my book and delve into what made me such an overachiever and discover all the unhealthy ways that I tried to cope with a life that really didn't work for me. And in closing, I just want to state that everything is possible. You just have to find a way to do it.